Hey everyone, this is C22 Pictures, and a little bit of backstory. So, I had a creative writing class where we wrote a series of short stories or short whatever. And, I always felt sad after the class ended that all these stories had no purpose. Like, they were just going to sit in a notebook. So, I came up with the brilliant idea of what if I turn these into, like, a radio drama? So, that's what this is. This is the first episode of the next few episode or of this radio drama series where these are some disconnected stories. The first three that I will be reading are closely connected, or loosely connected. I had an idea and then it just never worked out. So I hope you all enjoy this and just sit back, relax, and listen and enjoy this radio drama. Now, let's get into it.
I will be right behind you.
Peter stumbled up to the older-looking man who was working in the basket. Hi, I'm Peter, Peter stuttered, reaching his hand out. The man scoffed. Peter looked back as the other man, who was considerably younger, was talking to his mom. They both seemed lively, and Peter thought he saw genuine happiness on her face. 7 months ago, Peter lost his dad in a freak accident. The emptiness consumed him, like being let out to drift in space. His mother felt so guilty that she couldn't fill that void. So now, they were here, getting fresh air, as his mother said. Peter was shocked when he turned around and the flat carcass on the ground was inflated and touched the sky. It was like the self-reflection Peter took threw him forward in time. The balloon bounced in the air like it was dancing to music he couldn't hear. "Get in," the man spoke almost without a whisper. Peter gulped and felt his heart drop to his stomach as he hopped over the wall into the basket. Almost without hesitation, the man clicked the trigger that was hanging from the silver box above. The basket shook and said goodbye to the ground as they were lifted up. "Hey, whoa, what's going on?" Peter stammered. "They will catch up," the man said without even glancing at Peter. "Well, can I at least get your name?" Peter questioned. "Bruce," the man grunted. Peter rolled his eyes and looked down. The height almost made him sick. He gripped the sides, which caused the basket to creak. At this, Bruce finally looked back and saw that Peter wasn't doing too well. "This is your first time flying, isn't it?" Bruce asked. Yeah, Peter mumbled. Ugh, Bruce groaned, rubbing his eyes. Bruce looked up and said, "Just calm down. Nothing bad is going to happen. I've been doing this for years. I just guess I forgot to go over everything." Bruce began to explain everything to Peter. It calmed him down to an extent, but the fear of falling was a grip that couldn't be budged. Bruce turned and took a step towards Peter. This startled him as he began to lose his train of thought. Instinctively, he stepped back. Since there was nowhere for him to go, his momentum carried him over the side. "Ah!" Peter screamed. Bruce was hanging over the side, holding onto Peter's wrist. "Kid, don't look down," Bruce spoke in a grimace tone. Peter couldn't help but look down as the water, which had some boats in it before, looked like a blue blanket. "What did I just say?" Bruce exclaimed. Peter looked back up and saw Bruce's face. The tired look was completely gone. His eyes emitted a sense of determination. "I need you to try and grab onto my hand." I can't!" Peter yelled. Peter couldn't summon the strength to grab Bruce's arm. Bruce's face was turning red. The balloon began to gain more height as Bruce was too busy to help. He turned and forgot that he was holding on to Peter. Peter began to fall until he felt the weird sensation of a cushion on his back, air flowing into his nose, and a bright light in front of his face. Peter closed his eyes and blinked. When he opened his eyes, he saw the fluorescent lights of a hospital. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and as always, that's a wrap!